Hello and welcome to Columbus Local Podcast. I'm Len D'Amico and this is episode number 92. This evening we have David Eidelberg.
Yes, I am here. I've been avoiding you for over a year, but here I am.
You and some other folks that I am a personal fan of, you know. David, it's awesome that you came tonight. I'm glad that you did come. And I knew that I could maybe have my best opportunity to maybe do a spur of the moment, which we did.
Yes, we did.
I gotcha. And thank you.
My pleasure.
It's not an easy thing to do, but you know what? I kind of have a subtitled Giants Among Us. And, you know,
oh, God.
Everybody.
Is that a fat joke?
Doing this stuff. No, man, you're a big part of Columbus music, you know. You are.
I don't see myself that way at all.
That's okay. But, yeah. You know, for those that don't know your name, for whatever reason, I'd appreciate if you could maybe walk us through some of the things you're currently involved in the Columbus area with music.
Well, right now I am playing solo acoustic gigs. I'm playing with my duo Mama Drama. That's Heather Pennington on vocals and me on vocals and guitar. And we've done a lot of fun things over the years. We'll talk about that.
Sure.
Other than that, I'm filling in with bands here and there, right on Main. I just played a gig at the Buckeye Fan Fest outside the stadium with A.J. Angelo.
Nice.
Part of his band. Playing with a band called Hodgepodge, which is my friends Dwayne and Chris Hagee. They do an acoustic duo. They had a band that no longer exists, and we just put a band together depending on who's available. So we've got one of those coming up, and we've played a bunch.
That's cool.
Some of the gigs are at many of the normal places, a lot at Buckeye Lake. But this week, for the first time, I played at Nationwide Children's Hospital down in the lobby. And we're going to turn that into a thing. It really went well. You've done that
in the past, though, have you not?
I play every week at the James.
Oh, gotcha. Yep.
And starting next month, we're going to play in other areas, like an outpatient facility and some other things. So not just in the lobby of the James, but at some of their other facilities. And I've got to somehow, make time for all this because I want to do the Children's Hospital thing as much as I can.
It's so wonderful that you're doing that, man. It really is.
I get more out of that gig at the James than anything else.
So sweet. Well, it really is that you do that.
Well, I am a survivor, cancer survivor twice. My father passed from cancer at 46. I know it affects everybody. I participate in a lot of fundraisers for the James. Actually just did one recently for an employee of the James who fell down some stairs and is now a paraplegic in a wheelchair. She has the best attitude ever.
Yep.
There was a big party for her to fundraise for her, and I went and played, and I love doing that stuff. It means a lot to me.
Yes. And it's, I'm sure, very much appreciated. I mean, a lot of us in the Columbus area are in and out of the hospital.
Yes.
And, the fact that you're there with peaceful moments, with the giving of your music and the performances and, what are some of the remarks that you're hearing?
Well, there are lots of verbal remarks,
yeah.
But even more important to me is when I see someone who's obviously a family member, maybe a spouse, come into the lobby, and you can see the stress on their faces.
Man.
Yeah, they hear the music, and you can watch it melt. You watch the stress melt for just a while. I've had so many people come up to me and tell me how much it helped them through their day. And it's I don't want to get emotional here.
Yeah, no, you're making me emotional.
But, for example, local musician Peter Conrad.
Yeah.
A few months ago, he walked in. And this is the hardest part of doing this gig, is when you see someone you know walk in and you find out they're treating, and you find out if their prognosis was good or bad, and it hits you in the gut.
Right.
When Peter walked in, he was treating again, and he hadn't picked up a guitar in 2 years, hadn't sung in 2 years. After a couple of weeks of him coming in for treatment and coming to sit and play, I got him to sing a verse of a song. 2 weeks after that, I got him to play a song. And then just before his last treatment, he got up and did some songs by himself, and it was great. And that's, to me, to turn him around from not playing and having no desire, now he wants to play.
To inspire him.
He just realized how much music meant to him.
Do it. Right on, man. Golly. That's so awesome.
It's incredible. I'm blessed to have the opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. And it's very much appreciated by everyone involved. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's great, and I recommend it to everybody. The trick is you gotta have low volume. It can't be too loud.
Yeah.
They used to put people under the stairs because they were too loud. Now that space has been reutilized, so you have to be quiet enough to play out in the lobby now.
All right. We'll see you there.
I hope not.
Well, I mean, doing your gigs, right?
Yeah.
Is it a set schedule for you to be playing there?
It's
Or kind of.
we choose different days, different weeks, and usually I try to do the noon hour. But if there's somebody else playing, 11. I think we've got one coming up that's like a 2-hour gig that's for employees. There's a whole coffee thing. I'm not exactly sure what it all is yet. So they're all a little bit different. That one's not till 1 in the afternoon. And also, as a part of this, I totally slipped my mind, but during COVID, they had a survivors dinner every year, but they couldn't do it during COVID. They even hired Melissa Etheridge to play at it one year. And they asked me and 2 others, Pat Buzzard and Kelly, I'm sorry, Kelly, if you hear this. I know your last name. My brain doesn't always work. It's been like this for 8 years since I had cancer. That's why I've retired from my day job.
Yeah.
Forced retired.
That's all good, man.
But they asked us to go into the studio at Ohio State. And we all wore masks. We did it all separate. But did like a 10-minute video of our story and played a song at the end. And it's up on YouTube if anyone wants to look. David Eidelberg, Eidelberg. I use my real name. But it's on YouTube, and my cancer story is on there. So we were able to do that. They actually had more viewers of the event that year than they did for any of the previous ones that were in person.
Yep.
So it was pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah. We'll put a link to that in your,
Okay.
And to anything else that you'd like to have
there's a bunch of
flying around.
There's a bunch of stuff on there. Sometimes it's me screwing around. Sometimes it's demoing a product or trashing a product. I don't do much of that, but when I get a piece of gear and it's like, oh man, this is horrible, and I put it out there explaining, like, for example, the Donner Hush acoustic guitar. It was so bad when it arrived, so I put up a video of how to make it playable. Because if they're marketing this to people who don't know how to work on their own gear, it's never going to work for them.
No.
So I did that, but I don't do that regularly at all.
Man, that's wild.
It's something. I have friends who do it.
Are you involved in any other projects? We see you your face at Gatsby's, your face at Stats.
Yeah,
Pizza, and Pataskala, and hanging with all of these guys, right? Like,
I've subbed with Hind Dog and Stats a number of times. There was a recent gig, one of their reunion gigs this summer, where Dave Heinmiller was not feeling well, went home. I ended up playing with the band for the rest of the night. That kind of thing. I get sub calls and I go play, and I always have fun. But like Saturday, my friend Bob Miller is playing at the Corner. And he said, come on out, play with me the whole night. I probably will. I've backed up Gabrielle several times.
Oh, cool.
I think we played a gig at Stats Pizza, but also in Florida, in Marathon, Florida. I've played for her. There's a thing every summer out in London. It's a weekend camping thing, and I played for her there.
Yeah.
But I do that with a lot of
You're
people.
talking about Gabrielle Johnston.
Yes.
Yes.
Who you happen to play with
I
now.
happen to be working with her now, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, I've been filling in with Right on Main from time to time.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Doug took some vacation this summer, and I played some gigs with him on electric, and so a nice combination of acoustic and electric stuff.
David, you've got one of the voices of Columbus, Ohio music. How long did when did you realize you were able to sing? Like, not like the average person. You knew you had a voice.
I don't think I have that good a voice. I consider myself a harmony singer. I really don't.
Oh, your harmonies are heavenly.
I mean, I consider myself a harmony singer. I can sing some lead, but I started playing guitar on acoustic, at the local Y. By the time I was in high school, I had a folk guitar teacher. He was a very well-known guy. I grew up outside of New York City, and he was, part of the great folk music scare of the 60s and early 70s. And so I played folk guitar. And where were we going with this? What was the question again?
Oh, no. Just curious,
Oh, yeah.
when you realize and knowing you're so humble that you're saying, I really can't. You can sing, dude.
Well, he made me sing
I gotcha.
when I played. When I had to sing the folk songs.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it my whole life.
Yeah.
But, for example, the band I played with my senior year in high school, I didn't sing. I might sing a background vocal here or there. I think I sang a lead part on one song. Now, that band has gotten back together 3 times so far.
Who are those cats?
They're all in New York and New Jersey now.
So your high school days were in New York?
Yes.
Okay.
I came to Ohio after I graduated high school.
And David, before we go too far, where in New York? In New York City?
Right outside the city.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, which neighborhood?
Scarsdale.
Did you grow
Westchester.
up in Westchester?
Yeah, well, in Long Beach, Long Island, until 4th grade, and the 5th grade on was in Scarsdale.
Really cool.
Now there's a great guitar store in Scarsdale, Rudy's music stuff.
So Rudy's used to be in Manhattan, though.
Yeah,
Did they
48th Street.
Did they relocate?
Rudy now has 2 shops.
Okay.
One in Scarsdale, which is where he lives, and I can't remember, the other one might be 38th Street. I'm not sure. I'm just glad that store wasn't there.
It's in Midtown. Yeah, I've and that store is not there. I remember when it closed, but I used to work, a lot in New York City, and whenever we'd have time, I'd hit Rudy's and I'd hit the other store next to it. There was a Sam Ash there too for a while. Rudy's, and then
going back,
didn't want to go to
We Buy
Manny's.
Guitars.
I think it was Manny's Guitars.
Manny's was across the street from
Okay,
Rudy's.
that's
We
what it
Buy
was.
Guitars was one of the big ones.
So were you tooling around in those stores, like
Yes,
when
in
you
high
were
school.
a kid?
Yeah.
Man,
We had a Sam Ash, a bus ride away from us. So I'd walk to the bus stop and take the bus up until I got a driver's license. Although I didn't have a car, I drove the family station wagon when I was allowed. But yeah, my brother and I would go to 48th Street and Alex Axe, and just back in the glory days. Electro Harmonics had a store where you could go in, put headphones on, and just play with all their stuff.
all their effect pedals,
All
for
their
guitars,
pedals.
and man, that's cool stuff. That's
Very cool stuff. Those are the good old days.
Yeah, for sure. So, Long Island area, West.
And in Westchester.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so high school got you started with playing folk guitar
Well,
and
actually,
singing those songs, right?
Way before.
Okay.
I probably started when I was 5 years old.
Playing music.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Not singing until you were high school.
Probably junior high. I was in my first band in 8th grade. And I still play with the drummer from time to time. He was in the band my senior year. The funny thing is that the name of that band was Nightfall, And I was in Columbus's Nightfall for a short while.
Yeah.
2022, 2023. But yeah, that was, I was like, oh yeah, I had a band called that in junior high. But anyway, but in high school, I can't remember what bands I was in like 9th and 10th grade. I just don't
That
remember.
sounds good, yeah.
But I was in a metal band called Sinner.
Nice.
When I was in 10th grade, and we played a lot of high school stuff, and we were playing Sabbath and old Judas Priest and Zeppelin and all kinds of other stuff. We did play a particular bar that was called the Rising Sun, if I remember right. And we were 16. We shouldn't have been in there. We had fun. We had a good time playing good heavy rock.
Oh, yeah.
And then my next year, I was in this band with these guys that I'm still close with today. And they called us the James Taylor cover band.
Nice.
I was playing pure electric. My friend Alan Goldberg, he got me started on playing the James Taylor stuff in that band. Although I'd already seen James a couple of times, I think, by then. But I just didn't sing much in that band. I guess probably college, I might have started
really
singing a little more, but never lead singer, always backing vocals. I went to Oberlin College, so we had the Oberlin Conservatory of Music. So I got to play with some incredible musicians.
So did you live in New York and came to the Columbus area, or Ohio at least, right?
Yeah, Oberlin
for college.
I went to Oberlin for college,
Nice.
up near Lake Erie.
Okay.
And so between classes, I played a lot of music with some really great musicians. The drummer, I've never played with a better drummer. He ended up in Blue Man Group in Vegas, so that's how good he is.
Man.
And he's also taught at the college level. But lots and lots of bands, lots of all kinds of music. It was fun.
That's so cool.
Always good.
That's a great opportunity to be able to experience all that young.
Yeah. And then even in law school, I played in a band, and actually just saw a week or two ago the leader of the band that I played in. He lives in New York. He's a New Yorker, purebred. And because of me, he's a guitar collector. I can tell you that story along the way. But I saw him last week. He's got an all-original band called White Collar Crime.
Oh, wow.
It was originally all lawyers. It's not now. But 30 years. And it's all his music. He sings like Lou Reed. He sounds like Lou Reed, for better or for worse.
Yeah, no, I love Lou Reed. I would sing a couple songs. Lou Reed's Sweet Jane's one of them.
There you go.
That's about all the people I've ever played with have allowed me to do.
That's funny. When I went to New York and played with
Lou
them,
Reed.
yeah, well, that's what he sounds like. It took me a few years to realize. I said, "Dude, you sound like Lou Reed." He goes, "You just realized that?" But I played
He's that flat.
I played with him at his band in Greenwich Village a couple of years ago. That was fun.
Nice.
I don't know. I could talk about all the hundreds of bands I've been in town.
So
But
what
Mark,
brought you into Columbus, though? So you went to college?
I went to college. Then I went to Case Western for law school.
Yeah.
And I got a job down here.
Okay.
That's what brought me to Columbus.
Working in the bigger city of Ohio, one of them.
Well,
Anyway,
I was in Cleveland,
it's not New York. Yeah, Cleveland.
Oh, I had never had a desire to go back to New York.
Okay, I was going to ask you.
None.
You hung in there. You've been around for some decades.
That was
in the Central Ohio area.
That was 1988
Okay.
that I moved to Columbus, and it was 81 when I moved to Ohio. So yeah, I've been out here for a long time. I actually had a New York accent at one point. It's pretty much gone.
It's all good.
Unless you get me back in New York for a couple of days and it comes back. But yeah, that's what brought me to Columbus. And of course, I was a new young lawyer. Didn't have band was the last thing on my mind.
Right.
Playing out was the last thing on my
Jumping
mind.
into your career and your family, probably.
That's my wife.
Yeah.
And I ended up somehow getting the itch. Ended up at the Dolphin Lounge, maybe for Rick Bowles' Blues Jam, which just had a big anniversary. And
40 years, man.
Yeah, Rick was doing it back then. It was him. And then I found out about Matt Avery's acoustic night. So I started going to that every week. Got to know Matt a bit.
And was Matt's event, was that a Dolphin event as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was dating Lori at the time.
Oh, cool.
So I started that, and there were a couple of people who played there every week, and turns out they were lawyers too. And ultimately, we formed a band called In Contempt. That was my first Columbus band, 5 lawyers. We played at the Dolphin Lounge several times. I remember playing at the Apollo on High Street on campus.
Oh, sure.
The old Apollo. And the Apollo's great, because he's still in business, but he moved, I think. It's a little north of where it used to be. But anyway, that lasted a little while. I got some good friends out of it. And I don't know, things kind of just went from there. Let's see. There's a band that I can't think of the name of.
Yeah.
My wife can't think of the name of it, but Garland Flowers was the bass player and singer. He was in his family band for years. He used to tour in a tour bus.
Nice.
All that. I can't. We called it the Ugly Shirt Band because Jeff, who played keys, he bought these ugly shirts for all of us. And
that was your thing.
yeah, it wasn't my thing, but I did it anyway. That was the first time I played Red, White, and Boom was with that band.
Oh, sweet.
And then Garland left, and we formed a new band called The Curves with a female singer. Played a little while with that. Boy, I don't know if I should say what happened to Jeff.
But yeah, if it's not a comfortable thing, don't do it.
Well, it's comfortable for me. I haven't spoken
You got
to
him
him
falling
since.
out.
Oh no! Well, yeah, we sort of did.
It happens, man. It
but
happens.
it wasn't that. That's not what I was thinking about. I was thinking about he held up a bank, but he held up his own bank, and they recognized him. He was recognizable. So he did a little time.
Public knowledge, right?
He was just. I think he was in a bad spot.
Yeah, bless his heart.
Yeah, and at one point I was working in the Key Bank building. That's where the firm was, and the guy who was running the building was a drummer, and he asked if I would be interested in joining Little Sister, which is where I met my duo singer Heather. We played bars, we played animal lodges, a lot of country, a lot of this, a lot of that. And at the same time, I was in Pterodactyl Studios with Carrie and Linda Dactyl and Julie Ivory, and for the life of me,
What
can't
a
remember.
lineup, man.
That's
a good lineup.
That would have been a great band, but we never got out of the basement. But then Shane fired the guitar player in the wedding band called the Mighty Quinn, and I knew it was Tom Breckenridge, great player. I said, Tom, why don't we just switch? So I went to the Mighty Quinn, and he went and played with those guys. I think we played one gig. It was Julie's birthday party at Gatsby's. And let's just say I had to sing the whole third set. We had fun that night. I think Julie had a lot of fun that night. And I was in the Mighty Quinn and Little Sister for probably 10 years.
Oh, gotcha.
And we were a wedding band, tuxedos, the whole 9 yards. During one of those weddings that we played, Roger McGuinn was a guest. So he's very close friends with the father of the bride, who I'm friends with. I didn't realize it until that day. We're setting up, and I'm looking at some things there in the ballroom. Said, whose wedding is this? And Shane told me. I was like, okay, guys, Roger McGuinn of the Byrds is going to be a guest at this wedding tonight.
No way.
And sure enough, Roger got up. We played at least a dozen Byrds songs.
No way.
It was amazing. He played one of my guitars. I didn't own a 12-string electric at the time. Otherwise, I would have brought it.
So you got to play with him.
Got to play with him.
Good for you. What an awesome experience.
I've had a few of those over the years. Just happened
Well, I
to be
know another one we'll get to in a little while.
We will get to it.
Okay.
But yeah, I was in that band for a long time, and the bar band, the Little Sister, got very popular.
Yep.
You probably never heard of us, but like on the Rocks.
Oh yeah, that place. Yep.
We had this one night in particular. They had to stop letting people in because they were over capacity, and then they made us stop early because they had to get people out.
Oh my gosh.
Because there were just too many people there.
That's a good place to be.
It was a good place to be.
That bar was the bar.
Yeah.
To play.
That was when original.
In the 90s?
90s.
Yeah.
Original Tom owned it back then. I lived close to it, so it kind of became my bar.
There was a pre-Tom before Mr. Marchie?
Yes, there was.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
Marchie
that.
might have been.
I knew Tom M, but not, and then beyond. But
I can't. He was a banker.
Sure.
Small guy. I can't think of his last name, but really nice guy.
And you took your music band.
Yeah.
Gave him good nights.
Gave him good nights.
That's a great story.
And then I got fired from the band, or I wasn't fired, but I was fired anyway.
Yeah.
Buttonheads. Don't need to really talk about that.
No worries.
And I started going over there on Thursdays to see Mother Trucker. And then Saving Jane was starting like an acoustic thing on Sundays. I didn't know any of them. And I went to their first gig. Chris Masevsky, who I'm sure you know, great guitar player.
I know the name.
Oh, you don't know Chris?
I don't know Chris.
Oh,
but
he put him in a podcast.
Help me out.
I will. I'll talk to him.
Mr. Buzzard, he's supposed to as well. I have reached to him.
Pat's got stories galore.
Well, that's what everybody says, and I have reaced to him. We just haven't gotten a date yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, Pat was in Mother Trucker.
Yep.
As well. Yep. And so Saving Jane was playing on their Sundays, and Chris, he did the first one, but he did not like playing acoustic guitar. That was Pat's job. And I introduced myself and said, hey, would you mind if I play next Sunday on your break? They said, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. So I went back the next Sunday, brought my guitar, and reintroduced myself. And they took a break and didn't say anything. I went, hey, is it okay? And so they said, oh, yeah, get up there. And I started playing.
And you brought the damn house down, didn't you?
Well, it wasn't a full house. It was a Sunday. But, there were people there. And I started playing solo acoustic, singing my thing. And then Marty gets on stage with me. Marty Dodson, who was the lead singer for Saving Jane, principal songwriter, and now a songwriter in Nashville.
Yep.
For years. She listened, and she got up on stage with me, and she kept saying, well, do you know this song? I said, sure. And I played with her, and her singing, and we harmonized. And
awesome.
You know this song? Yeah. And it went on and on and on. That's how I got the nickname Super Dave.
Nice.
She gave me that nickname because I knew I could play any song she threw at me. And from there, it kind of ended up getting into Mother Trucker when the keyboard player Roger left, and I was in Trucker for like 10 years, full band, and then Mike Skite and I did the acoustic version, the duo. We played all over the place. Lots of great putting bass stories from that one.
And are we going to go there, David? Let's go there. Everybody in Ohio is aware of the islands north of the state. And what happens on the island typically stays on the island. So maybe a consideration would be to just mask names.
Yeah. Well, the name that makes this funny I don't know it.
Oh, you don't know the name?
I don't know her name.
Well, that's okay.
But most of the guys in the band like to stay in the shack behind the boathouse, sure. Which is where we played.
In the venue typically puts you up there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But so it was disgusting. Mold on the carpet. I mean, it's nasty. So.
But it's free.
But so is the dorm. It's just a little walk away, and we had.
Do you have to know somebody in the dorm to get there, though?
No. They put us up there.
Okay.
And they gave us the big room with five beds and stuff, but it was just me and Dak the drummer.
Nice.
And I was out having fun till wee hours, I guess. Go back to the room, Dak's asleep, and there's some girl who's also asleep. Dak had a good night. And sometime in the middle of the night, I wake up because this girl is knocking on the bathroom door. There's nobody in there. And I was like, Dak, go do something. He's like, you do something. Like, it's...
Is she on the outside trying to go in, or she's she's trying to get out?
She's in our room trying to get into the bathroom that's in our room.
Gotcha.
So I got down out of the bed and I said, hey, can I help you? And I said, oh, bathroom's right. Just open the doors, no one in there, don't worry about it.
Cool.
And then she came back out, and she was obviously intoxicated.
It does happen on the island.
It does, even to me.
Well,
Mother Trucker was known for drinking as many shots of Jaeger as you could send up.
how old were you when this shit's going on, man? I mean, that's a lot of
40s.
gigs. Okay, you can handle it then. And you did.
I was younger, thank God. I was older than all of them, but
Sure.
Anyway,
Yep.
so all of a sudden, then she's on the phone, and she says, "I'd like the number for Erie, Pennsylvania, please." It's like, oh my God. Dak and I are just cracking up. And she says, "The Commodore." Which she was staying at the Commodore. She didn't know where she was.
Right.
She didn't know anything. So
she's on Kelly's or on
this is a
Put
put bay. This is put bay.
Okay.
And so I get down. I'm trying to help her, and she asked the funniest question I've ever heard. How long is this boat ride? She thought we were on a boat
In the middle of the lake.
in the middle of the lake, and we're in a dorm room in the middle of nowhere. So we help her and try and point her in the right direction, send her up the stairs, and like, oh wait, she could get lost out there. So we go up there, no sign of her. So we look at the paper the next day. Nobody went into the ocean. Everything was fine. But how long is this boat ride? And that's the one I can tell.
Oh, yeah. All right, man. That's a good one, though.
Oh.
There's so many. Once you mask a name, don't even say who the people are. What did you witness? Or did it happen to you?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Well,
things you observe on the island. It's crazy, man.
When Saving Jane went on the road, we got some new players.
Okay.
At least one of whom you know. And one night we're playing, and there's about 20 minutes left in the set. The place is
And
packed.
this is on the island?
On the island in the
Put-in-Bay,
boathouse.
Ohio.
Yes. And all of a sudden, no drums. We turn around, and the drummer has passed out while he was playing. There were two girls on stage behind him, and they were like helping him get him down easy. Bass player goes over to help him. Mike and I play just the two of us. Every rose has its thorn.
Oh, cool.
Call it a night. And for 5 years after that, the managers gave me crap about it.
About the drummer passing out?
Yeah, and the next time we played extra long to make up for it. But that was a good one.
That is good.
Another Mother Trucker story. We were playing a wedding in Norwalk, and they had us on a trailer, and everyone was staying there, and we were playing and drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking and playing, and at the end of the night we're playing, and Jeremy Martin, great bass player. I mean, just incredible. He's had a little much. I think the father of the bride gave him his own bottle of whiskey, and falls on his back, keeps playing, never misses a note. I still think it's funny.
No, it is funny, man.
Yeah,
Not too many people can do that.
It is definitely the most fun band I've ever been in.
Good for you. Everybody deserves one of those.
Yeah. And then at the same time, I was playing with Saving Jane at their acoustic gigs. So as they were doing all their stuff, so I knew all their original material and all that kind of stuff. And And then I had been playing with the Mike Unger band, and then Mike became their lead guitar player after Chris left. Once they got signed, and he didn't like the deal or something.
Yeah.
So he left, and Mike did that. And I've been in a bunch of bands since then, but the one with the story is Misfit Toys.
Oh, sweet.
They had been around a while. They were playing like New Year's Eve at On the Rocks for a couple of years, and I joined. Great guys, great players. Dave Lynch was a guitar player.
Yeah.
Steve Zvonek, bass and vocals, and Steve now plays bass with Chuck and Bubba, and Rich Hall on drums. I think that was it. It was just it was enough.
Four piece.
We made a nice racket.
Nice noise.
Yeah, and played a bunch of gigs. But Steve Zvonek worked at White Castle, and he came to us one day and said, "Hey guys, Alice Cooper is being inducted into the White Castle Hall of Fame, and they asked me if we want to play." And we're like, "Wait, for Alice Cooper?"
He is a huge White Castle fan.
Huge White Castle fan.
He, like bigger than life.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, they did a little panel discussion with him, and it was crazy. I mean, they stop all the time for White Castles. And we're like, of course we want to do this. So we learned 2 songs, and they said, he may get up and sing with you.
Oh, my God.
And so we started, when he walked in, and this is out on the internet, look up White Castle, Alice Cooper.
It's there. I've seen it at least several times.
It went around the world.
Oh, it's great.
It was nuts.
It's a great video.
And we're playing No More Mr. Nice Guy. And Alice is watching us, and after a little bit, he's realized we're not stopping. We're going to play the whole song. And he gets up and sings with us.
Yeah.
And that was incredibly cool.
Unreal.
Just one of those, I was in the right place at the right time opportunities. I didn't make it happen, but when we were taking a picture with him, the band and him later, and I just asked him, "So where'd you play today?" Because he's an avid golfer. He lit up. Boom, boom, boom. He told me where he played and where he played the day
before. Do you
before.
remember where he played in Ohio? In Columbus?
Played Muirfield.
Good for him.
And I can't remember the other place he'd played.
Maybe Powell or New Albany.
Might have been New Albany.
Did he maybe get to the golf club?
That's what I was thinking. Maybe the golf club of Dublin.
Very exclusive.
Which one?
There's the one. It's actually New Albany.
Oh,
yes.
It's
called the Golf Club.
Yes.
And there's only 50 people, I think, or 100 people that are members. And every year they divide the maintenance cost by 100, and that's their.
And they can all afford it.
Yeah, they just write a check and they're in. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's pretty exclusive. Probably not that course. But
I don't think it was that course.
Yeah.
They were courses that I knew. But I also got to spend time speaking with his wife, who, down to earth, they're both incredibly down to earth.
That's so awesome.
But we talked about their family and what they've done and why they took off some time to raise their kids, and now they're back on the road, and she still plays the nurse in the stage show. But they were really nice people. I've got an SG that Alice signed on the back. It seemed like the appropriate guitar to play for him. And
he played it well.
Well, in the video, you can only hear me go, crang. See, when he was leaving, we played School's Out. I played the main part for that one, but Dave Lynch played the main part for No More Mr. Nice Guy. So,
that's cool.
But yeah, it went well. That was a great experience. Oh boy. I think the next band I was in the Bringers, Brian Pankey, Eric Ginger.
Nice.
For a little while. Then I was in a band called Whiskey Players. It's a 3-piece. And the other 2 guys were in Jacked Up, the country band. They were losing their bass player. They said, "Well, you said you have a bass." I said, I have a bass. I don't play bass.
I've been down that road recently.
So I crammed, and I did my best.
Yep.
What I wanted to do was play bass like a bass player, not like a guitar player.
Right. That's my approach too.
Yeah, it's different.
It's very different.
I mean, from the folk guitar playing, I play a lot of bass runs with my thumb and stuff, but it's still not the same, especially when you're playing country and modern country.
It really is.
So I did the best I could. I did fine. There are a couple of songs that I really should have played better. Yeah, that lasted a few years, actually.
That's cool. Very cool.
And somehow, I don't know, the order, we put Little Sister back together, and for some reason, they called me. Everyone wanted me in the band.
Why wouldn't they?
Well, they had some of the best players in town in that band over the years. Chaz Meckenbauer,
Gosh.
Pete Carey, I think, did a stint. Some others. But we put it back together. It didn't last very long. But while we were doing it, Heather and I started Mama Drama. And I book it. I do all the work. She shows up and sings. It works out great. But we got a gig through Class Acts playing at the Phrase for a food truck festival. They liked us. We sounded good.
Of course they did.
Well, we were on the main stage. There was nobody there. Maybe 5 people in the audience because the food trucks are outside of the amphitheater.
Yep.
There was nobody in there. But they liked us enough. They said, we want you to open up for a real touring act. And we're looking at the schedule. God, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Is he going to... We might open for Bob Dylan. And they finally called Sheryl Crow.
Sheryl Crow. Nice.
We opened for Sheryl Crow. I saw, Andy Harrison was not teching for her then.
I was going to ask.
It's just too bad.
I was going to ask, and I don't know Andy, but I
Andy's a good guy.
Yeah.
His girlfriend at the time worked at my law firm, so
Very cool.
But I knew him before her, and it was months before I knew that they were together. It was weird.
It's a small world.
It is a very small world. But we got that opportunity, and I had known Peter Stroud electronically. Peter's her main guitar player for many years. Just some stuff on the internet. And I told him, hey, we're opening for you guys. So I got to talk to Peter quite a bit beforehand. Nice. I got tongue-tied when I spoke with Sheryl. She's so tiny. She's a tiny little thing. And then she goes on stage and she looks big.
Oh, bigger than life.
But she's standing next to these two guys, two guitar players who are well over 6 feet tall. Really? Audley Freed is very tall. Peter Stroud is very tall. Nice. But they were great, but we played, and I walk out. We did sound check. Sound check was fine. We walked out when it was our time to play. I hit my guitar. Nothing. No sound. I look over at their guitar tech. He's like looking at me like did someone touch
his shoulder?
Yeah, he basically shrugged his shoulders. But I figured it out. My wife said, someone yelled out, "Don't quit your day job," which I wasn't doing. But it was right after I had cancer surgery in 2016, and I wasn't in great shape, but I really wanted to do this, and it was really hot. But it took me a couple of minutes. I figured, that wire is no longer connected. Plugged it in, boom.
Oh, good for you.
We played our set. And
so you turned and unplugged then out of your. Do you have a pedal board or something?
Yeah, I had a wireless.
Okay.
And I forgot the wireless battery was not charged during sound check, and I had plugged something else in, and I did it to myself.
Yeah.
But we played, and I'll give Heather the credit because she's got such an amazing voice. We got a standing ovation from almost 5,000 people, and as an opener playing covers as an acoustic duo, I felt pretty good.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. And so, again, it's just being in the right place, right time, having the right person hear you. And
mad skills that the two of you have, right? And then together, it's like an amazing presentation. It really is.
The blend is great.
It's heaven. It is. And I haven't seen you, maybe I did see you once in person. Or a glimpse, but there's a lot of video I've seen of Mama Drama.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it doesn't do it justice, but it's a great act.
The problem with it, though, is that her voice has spoiled me.
Really? I can't imagine how that could be the case. Seriously?
She's just so good.
Yeah.
That I'm not satisfied with most singers. And that's why I've left some of the bands that I've been in.
That's tough.
I mean, I just auditioned for a band once, and I told the guys, I said, look, how good is your singer? I said, oh, he's good. He's really good. I said, look, if the singer isn't great, I'm just not interested. I said, no, he's really good. Come on out and try it. And so I showed up for the audition, and there was somebody else there auditioning at the same time. And I heard the singer. After a couple of notes, I was like, this guy's not good. Not good at all. And I just basically stopped even trying to play. I just kind of went along with it. And but I did not get that gig. I didn't want that gig. But they got smart. They got a new singer. They've gone on to major gigs.
Okay.
If you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I was like, I got the call. Yeah, with your schedule, with your duo. And I said, look, with that singer, I'm just not interested at all. I said, yeah, I kind of figured that when you stop, trying. But they did. They made the change they needed to do, and they're still playing great places today.
That's cool.
Let's see. Oh, gosh. Shortly after my cancer surgery, I still was recovering. I got a call. I've got a gig, pays $3,000. Can you do it? I don't have a band. Oh, but they've rejected all these others, and I think
you're the guy.
You're the guy to put this together. And I did. I put together a 4-piece band. Played at a country club. We threw it together in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Find the known song list, and
yes.
Boom, there it is.
Yep. Willie Carr on drums.
Oh, wow.
Heather on vocals, me on vocals. He's going to kill me. Bruce McLaughlin on bass.
Oh, sweet.
The band was great.
Yeah.
We had a great gig.
Yep.
Did our own sound. Made a lot of money. Even got tipped on top of it. And I was like, we should keep this going. And we did it. And we kept playing these country club gigs. They're big parties and stuff. And then I was not really recovering and going through other medical stuff.
Right.
And I said, look, I can keep doing this if someone else takes over the business part of it, all the booking and the money and everything else.
That's a big deal.
And nobody wanted to do it. So that killed that.
So that was over? Are you serious?
Yeah, it was over. We even played a wedding. And we brought in a keyboard player, Don Groner, who was in the Mighty Quinn. Great player. The guy could play anything. That one bummed me out because it was really good. And at some point, Heather and I got into another band, but it didn't work out. Stage volume, a couple other minor issues with the stage volume. Heather's like, I can't hear myself. I can't do this. I said, okay. If you're not in it, I'm not in it.
Right.
So that was short-lived. But then I joined Agent 99. I was one of a long string of players.
Popular wedding-oriented band, right?
Was
it? Or you
not when
everything?
I was in it.
Okay.
We didn't play any weddings.
On the rocks and kind of doing this Columbus circuit stuff?
Well, it was all 70s music. So we did summer stuff for cities. We did play some bars.
It was a busy band. I remember that.
Yeah, it was decently busy. We played outside the Shot before several concerts. The band was good. It was fun. It's music that I absolutely love. I got kind of bored. So towards the end, it was like, well, I'll be this sub guy if you find a new guy. And they said, all right, we'll do that. But
so were you fronting songs as a vocalist and playing guitar?
Yeah, there's actually a video on my YouTube page of the band at the casino. And we're playing Wonderful Tonight, and I'm singing and fronting on that one.
Right.
But I sang a lot of harmonies, as usual. We had a good time, but I ended up at the end, COVID is what shut it down. But they would say, hey, we booked this gig here. Do you want it or not?
Right.
But every gig they were booking, I was like, yeah, I do want that. I do want that. So I was like leaving, but I never left. and then COVID hit, shut it down. Although I see that they're playing gigs here and there again.
Good.
Without me, I haven't gotten a call.
Oh.
Psst, got my number?
Agent 99, give them a call.
No, it's all good. I did a stint with Nightfall, but
I remembered the Nightfall time. How many gigs were you with them? That's pretty recent, right?
2022, 2023.
Yeah.
I probably did 10 to 15 total. I was in the hospital a big chunk of 2023.
Yeah.
So I couldn't play a lot of them. But we had Joe Turner on guitar, who could play everything note for note. And he did. Really nice guy, great player, great guy. So he was able to do the shows without me. But then I'd add my stuff to the shows when I was able to play. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. Unfortunately, the band is gone now because some of the issues that caused me to leave ultimately. The band had been around for 20-something years, but different people.
Right.
And this new lineup just wasn't happening, I guess. But when I left them, I knew they had Joe. They didn't really need me.
Understood.
Joe's great. But he hadn't played in a band in 20-something years, so he got up and was perfect. He was great.
You lucked out there, mister.
I did.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
Luck.
Luck has a lot to do with it.
Oh, you got to have mad skills, though. You do. I think mad skills, the innate abilities, open the doors for an individual. And in your case, you got mad skills. So you're going to get more opportunities because you can fill it.
I do what I do pretty well. There's lots I can't do. I'm no Matt Bradley. I can't play that style.
I understand. I can't either. I'm that's a special drive.
I learned Jimmy Page. I didn't learn Eddie.
I started the same place.
But I can do a hammer on triplets, to throw them into a solo for fun and show.
You're a good guitar player, man. You got good skills.
I have fun with it. I was going to mention, and I totally forgot. I heard my name taken in vain quite a few times during your interview with Mike Keller.
What? Mike is a sweetheart.
I don't
it was
you.
Was it me?
Heidelberg's got all this gear. I want to see what he's selling.
That's not in vain.
I know.
So here's the deal, man. So unlike yourself, I started late. Getting involved. I didn't even know local music was a thing until I was late in life. I'm like, oh my God, this is cool. Long story short, I started playing late, started learning some Jimmy Page in the living room kind of thing, studying all that and whatever. But so, you start getting involved in music on social media, and all the time, either yourself or Mike Keller is selling top end, crazy ass gear that I'm like, ooh. So, I mean, I've met you in a parking lot.
What did you buy from me?
I'm trying to think, man.
I don't remember.
Well, because I just went on that like you do, right? You kind of go on like I'm doing with bass. I've spent so much crap on gear. It's not even funny. But I have a good quality rig because that's what I want to deliver. I want to deliver the best I can.
Absolutely.
And your gear kind of helps position that, right? But if you can't play it, it's going to sound like crap anyways, right?
Well, yeah.
So you practice your craft. I bought a clone from you.
Huh? Which one it was?
It was a gold sparkle box with a knob.
One knob?
Maybe two. It had three knobs on it.
Maybe ARC.
So tone in the middle, gain, and volume.
Okay.
That was it. And it was sort of a homegrown box, but it really was a great dirt box.
That might have been the ARC.
I think my son has that box now. Yeah,
I've got a few clones, and I've got one of the KTRs. I bought a few, sold them off, and kept one for myself.
Yeah, it's like $100, maybe $200 type
$100 pedal.
Bunch of those that you sold, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But from Keller, his boogie heads,
Yes.
his cabinets, as he's experimenting with his stuff. I'm like, oh, Mesa boogie.
Yeah.
What kind? An express?
Yeah.
5, 20, 50 head? Are you kidding me? Yeah, that sounds good to me.
There's one
and
that
was great. That was a great head too.
There's
I
one
did sell it though.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Well, I still
It's so
have.
big.
Well, I've got a Road King, which is the 4-channel thing, and it's a 212 combo, but I couldn't lift it myself. I got a bad back, and that thing's 119 pounds or 109 or something like that. So I had someone build a head cab for it, and it was still so big. At least you can turn the volume down on it. I mean, these days I'm all digital for the most part because that's what the gigs require, and I've gotten mostly used to it. And the latest one I do like a lot. But I still have that Road King amp, and it's in my little home office, and I'll plug into it from time to time. But I've got still too many tube amps. So you'll start seeing some more of those go for sale.
I'm down to one, and I haven't played one that I have traded it out. I've had it for a long time.
Which is it?
A Dr. Z Maz 18.
Oh, yeah. I've never owned a Dr. Z. I almost traded for one once.
The Maz is king in my head.
Yeah.
It's just a power. It's so utilitarian. You put anything in front of it, and it's all tube, and it's all hand wired, and it's a great amp. And I have a matching, just a 112 cab, but it sounds like a 212 cab because it's baffled, and it's just a good solid rig. Tough to beat, simple.
Yeah. Good stuff.
It is. And I run it kind of clean, and then a dirt box in front of it, and that's all I really need when you're playing live. I mean, you can go with digital, you can get a lot more granular. Right. How granular do you go, David? You have a clean and a dirty sound, or do you just go by song?
I don't go by song.
Okay.
I'm playing in a cover band. I'm not trying to match an exact sound. I mean, every now and then I will. Like in Nightfall, we were going to play Plush.
Oh.
And
so you need that.
Very specific sound. And someone had it. Yeah, it's chorusy, and there's a certain kind of gain. I don't know. Somebody else actually built a preset that sounded exactly like a patch. And I left right when we were starting to work on it. So I never got to play it out. But for the most part, I have 3 or 4 sounds. A clean with a little bit of gain, maybe a clean with chorus, and then a higher gain. And then I've got the ability to switch, like, quote, drive pedals on and off, and a clean boost for solos, so I don't have to rely on a sound guy, and some delay, some reverb. Other than that, that's it. I mean, if I'm playing a song that's got a Leslie in it, or for part of it, like no matter what, I'll throw the Leslie on there for that part. Because it's all built into the stuff.
Right.
So I have access to it all. And but I don't get very granular. I'm not trying to duplicate anything.
Right.
I had one of those fractal FM9s for a while. And you could deep dive so much.
You can.
Oh, I sold it pretty quickly.
It's too much for me. But there is a guitar player in town that uses that to its fullest.
Oh, yeah.
Rav of Headbangers Hangover.
Okay, I haven't seen him.
One of the great guitar players in town, obviously. Very versed in the details of getting the right tone per song. Yeah. He really does leverage that, and he does it very, very well. Yeah, and I leave that to him, right? Because I'm just not there. I'm never going to get to that.
Yeah, I don't want to get to that. My brain doesn't focus that long anymore.
So it's interesting to know. It's cool. So digital rig wise, what's your favorite family there?
Well, I've probably had most of them. I still currently have a Kemper. I have a Line 6 HX Stomp. I've got the Quad Cortex, which I still haven't gotten along with. I just haven't liked it, the sound of it. And I got the Fender Tone Master Pro, and it's funny because a lot of people who use digital things hate it. Just think it sounds horrible. I love it.
Yeah, you get great tone out of it, but I think the volume's got to be up to get it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Mike Keller, he was trying Helix, and I tried to help him for a long time on that one, and it just never got it to the point. And I was never fully satisfied with it either. And I probably played with it for 7 years. But the Fender, I love, and I've played gigs with it. Whoever I'm playing with always says, "Man, that sounds good." So that's all that matters.
Right.
I don't care what it is. I can show up with my 65 Princeton reverb and a Klon pedal.
And it
That sounds good too. Yeah. But it doesn't give me the variety that I need for some of these gigs.
But it sounds good.
But it sounds great. That is my desert island amp. I had Rod Chafe go through it and
with a soldering iron, just to check it.
Well, he brought it up to specs.
Oh, nice.
It was hadn't been touched since '65. It still sounded good,
man.
But I didn't want to do anything that
would hurt it.
Would hurt it.
Blow it up.
Blow up the transformer.
Something.
Yeah. So it's expensive. He does great work, but
he's the best in town.
But I agree.
One of the best in town, right? I mean, if not the best.
Yes, I will agree with that.
Yeah.
But it was worth it.
Oh God!
But if I have to do this to all my tube amps, forget it. That's not worth it.
I'm down to one. One of my favorite ones was a 50-watt Blue Voodoo tube head. That really I couldn't. It just really had some guts to it. It was just a normal cabinet, a normal 212 cab that thing ran through. But it was a good, solid, functional 2-channel amp. Clean and dirty. I like that. But nothing's come close to this Dr. Z for me. I don't know why. It's just the tone. Just oh my gosh. Tube's where it's at for me still.
Well,
it's hard to emulate that.
It is. And if my back was better, I'd still be using my tube amps.
Yeah.
The only place I've played a tube amp in the last several years was when I went to a friend's jam night in Cleveland. Jam nights in Columbus are totally different. They're all blues based. In Cleveland, it's classic rock. And this friend of mine, he actually fronts the Wish You Were Here, the Pink Floyd tribute band.
Yes.
He played bass with Michael Stanley for 20-something years. I've gotten to know the Michael Stanley guys a bit, and the Wish You Were Here guys are just great people.
Steve Pickerel, is he the sax player? Wish You Were Here?
They've got a new one, and I don't remember.
He might be in a different Floyd project. Sorry, yeah, but I met Steve through some other things. Go ahead.
Well, but go up to Cleveland, you better have a tube amp.
Better.
You better have
one. You're going
to
get lost in the mix.
Plus the looks. I mean, a friend of mine up there, he does use a Helix and a Variax that's built into a Rickenbacker, a fake Rickenbacker for his Beatles stuff. But no,
Columbus has
it's old school.
Columbus has some good jams. They're around, some good open mics. You have to kick some tires, but there's some good ones out there. You can do a lot with it.
Yeah, I need to get out more. Truthfully, I mean, right now I didn't have many gigs booked for this month or next, and then now I have 4 or 5 in the evenings. But I want to get out and see more people. But so tired all the time.
I feel that.
Yeah,
I do. I still work.
Yeah.
I still work.
I only work on my health. It's like, what hurts today? What's working and what's not working?
What are you feeling like?
Yeah. Well, obviously I need to get out to see you with Gabrielle.
Yeah, we're she's transitioning, she's got some plans, I think, with the music mix, and so she's got big plans. 2025 is going to be good stuff for Gabrielle Johnston, and I think it's been a lot of fun, getting engaged with that.
Yeah, she's great. Should be fun.
So, David, you've got so much going on. Really, I mean, you've got associations with a lot of great folks in Columbus area in the music community, and it's awesome.
I want to make a point about that.
Yeah.
There are like different music communities in Columbus.
Yes.
On the acoustic side, I got a whole bunch of friends, people I play with, people I go to see, people come to see me. It's just the acoustic side. But when I was at the memorial for, see, this is what happens at night. My brain doesn't work.
No, it's okay.
For Michael Christian.
Michael.
I used to play with Shorty and Smalls. They joined Mother Trucker when Frickin' A came off the road and Saving Jane stayed on the road.
Yeah.
And played with them for quite a long time. And I hadn't seen him in a long time. So I knew all those guys. I did a gig with Frank Lydia once. Well, he didn't actually end up playing, but he was trying to cancel. The bar called me. He said, he said, I can't get a guitar player. Can you come down and play? I said, sure. So I ended up playing with his drummer and the sound guy, Eric Van Wagener, who's a bass player, who I played with. And so we just did mostly a three-piece that night. I was out on the rocks. But that's a whole different group of people.
Yes.
And so I've been in like these two pockets. Then there's this other one that Masevsky's in. He's got a new band called the Ufgoods.
Yes.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yes, they're awesome.
I need to go see them.
Yes, we all need to go see them.
Yeah. And I mean, there are just all these pockets. Like I should have gone to Sean Pruden's jam.
The Barn Jam?
The Barn Jam.
I've been invited to that for 25 years, and I've never made it.
I was going to go this year, and I can't remember.
I was too.
There was something that came up, and I can't remember. I even told him I was going to be there, and I can't remember why I didn't make it.
Yeah, life happens, and
or
then it's
hospital
Sunday at
or
9 o'clock, and it's like, oh,
yeah. So I do want to do that sometime, but there are all these pockets. My niece is married to Joe Camerlengo. I don't know if you know Joe. Original music. The very last Other paper, they kind of made him look like Dylan, and he was on the cover. He's really well known in the original music scene. So I've gotten to see a little bit of that through him and his friends and see what they do. Very different from what I do.
Yeah.
And my niece is a drummer.
Yep.
So they record a lot. They actually sell music to a bunch of TV shows and all kinds of other things. All this is going on in this city. There's something for everybody.
There is.
There truly is. And there's so many amazing musicians.
There are.
It was great. I mean, I think the Michael Christian celebration really brought that out.
It was a diverse group of folks.
Yeah.
And it was an awesome day.
It was incredible.
At Harry Buffalo in Westerville.
Yep.
This past summer.
And I actually, it was unintentional, but I got a gig out of that.
Good.
The owner was down from Cleveland, I guess, and he heard me do my acoustic set, and he said, "Hey, I've got one open date left this year, November 1st. Do you want it?" I said, "Absolutely." It was right after I came back from a 3-week whirlwind vacation, and so I just played solo on Friday night. It was fun.
That's cool.
I played there before, but it had been 2 years. I hadn't tried to get back in. So it's nice when those things happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Still waiting for the check. It's one of those corporate deals where they got to send it to Cleveland, and Cleveland's got to write the check and mail it to you. But it'll
happen.
I'm not worried about it. I always got them in the past.
Yeah.
It's like when I do class act gigs, the check comes,
eventually.
No, they're really good. They're really fast.
Yeah.
Just a few days later. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much going on. There's literally something for everybody.
There is. That's a great point. And what's your advice to somebody who feels that they've got that same itch that you had to go check out the Dolphin Lounge Blues Jam one night, which I did the same thing, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah, that's how I kind of got out. Was the same venue, same vehicle, same event. blues is, you know,
It's good stuff. When it's
a
done,
lot
well.
of tab available back in the day. And then
Tab.
you get your 3 songs, you sign up, and you do your thing. You know, you meet other people.
But
it's a good way to go.
It is a good way to go. And whatever your thing is, like Stats or Gatsby's on Wednesday, Stats on Mondays for acoustic.
Eldorado's on Monday night.
I haven't been to Eldorado's.
That's a good time to go.
That's a Debbie and Debbie place, right?
It is.
It's Mighty Quinn Little Sister. We used to play several of their bars. Older crowd. The one on Henderson, there was this guy called the Dance Doctor. All the ladies would come in their sparkly dresses, and he was a dance teacher. And he would dance with, I don't know if they paid him or what, but he would dance with them. And because we played, it was a wedding band. We played dance music, tons of it, all different genres. And that was an interesting place. And then we played their place when it was up by the zoo. They had George Steinbrenner show up, like back when their farm team was here. But yeah, I think I've been to Eldorado's once, twice. Maybe I should start going. So where would I go for like a rock jam? Something that's not blues.
Well, you can do that at Eldorado's.
Okay.
Absolutely. You could do it at the Dolphin Lounge. You can do rock at the Dolphin, but I think you could go on a different night. Not the blues jam, but I think either Tuesday or Wednesday there might be an opportunity to do that.
I haven't been to the Dolphin.
I ran when Lori came back to Ohio. This most recent time after her mother had passed.
Yeah.
She asked me to do an open jam. I did that for summer. It was awesome to actually run that, and have that be on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
That was a good experience. But that was like on a Wednesday night, and we would do mainstream cover songs all night long. It would be a good time.
That'd be fun.
I don't know if they have that, but her offerings throughout the week change all the time. There's a lot of karaoke, a lot of different things. But I would think at Gatsby's too. You can play whatever the hell you want. But you're kind of a regular there, or have been at times, in and out, right?
Here and there.
Yeah.
I've played there with.
How heavy you talking? Like
Metallica?
Metallica? Or?
No. I'm older than Metallica.
You're talking about Eagles and
just mainstream rock, maybe some ZZ Top, that kind of thing. But because I don't play as much electric as I used to, unless I get into a band again, which is a possibility next year. It's just a matter of finding the right people and an excellent singer.
Right. That's your thing.
And someone who can deal with my schedule.
Well, what does that mean for you, schedule-wise? Like, what do they have? David, what do they have to tolerate when they get you?
Right now, mainly it's travel.
Your personal travel?
My personal travel. I almost kicked the bucket in 2023. Got very, very sick. Had 13 surgeries in 2023, 2024. And I've been disabled, out of work for 8 years. Or I should say not working, other than playing.
Right.
And my wife has the attitude that we need to make memories while I'm still physically able. So we just went to France and took a cruise back to New York with my uncles, both places, and stayed in New York for like 3 or 4 days. And sometimes it gets to be a lot for me. But the thing she says is, but you have no problem playing a 4-hour gig. I said, it's different. I get energy. I get juiced. But as long as
able to stand for 4 hours?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're fortunate. Some of us, my feet are paralyzed. Like I can't stand longer than 30 seconds.
Well,
it's crazy. I have issues.
We all have issues. In 2023, I think it was, Heather and I played the first nice day in the spring at Waterfront, Buckeye Lake.
Nice.
We were scheduled for a 4-hour gig, which was a lot. I still in the middle of surgeries and recoveries and all that kind of thing. And they came out and said, can you play for 5? And I gave them a high number, and they wouldn't go for it.
Oh.
They went for it.
They did.
We played 5 hours. I was happy with myself, but I paid for it for days. So anyway, we're traveling. My wife says make memories. So we've got a place in Florida as well. So my gigging season now is about May through September. And then depending on when we're traveling, I can sneak other gigs in there.
Okay.
I haven't booked the duo heavily yet for next year.
Right.
But that will probably happen soon.
And you'll know where your holes are.
Yeah, I'll know where my holes are. Yes.
For music.
Other than in the head.
Well, I hope it works out.
I do too.
With whatever, because you can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
and that's a good place to be.
I'm talking to someone
But
right
you got
now,
limitations.
and my schedule may mesh.
Okay, good.
So it's we're just talking at this point.
Right on. Yeah, no, I get it. You should be doing that because you have mad skills, man. I've said that 90 times the past hour. It's truth.
Playing makes me happy. Playing gives me energy. I can't imagine stopping. I know people have stopped it. I still have no idea how they did it. I can't. Simple as that. Until I don't get gigs anymore. But then I can still play at the James and Children's Hospital.
You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want.
Whatever. I can do what I want. Screw you guys. Screw you guys.
Well, what are you going to do?
I'll do what I want.
You do what you
I'll
want.
do what I want. I'll do what, here's the key. On top of the excellent vocals, it's got to be fun.
Oh, for sure.
If I'm not having fun, I'm out.
Yeah. You got
It's
to
not
work,
worth
though,
it.
man. You got to work. You got to learn the songs, and you have the work ethic to do that, and you have the skills to deliver it appropriately.
And that's one of the things that drives me nuts is when I show up.
But not everybody else does that.
I know. I show up to rehearsal, and the singer hasn't even listened to the song, and the drummer didn't listen to
that part.
The part that opens up the whole song.
Right.
That frustrates the hell out of me.
It can be.
And then when people don't learn their parts and you're at gigs and all of a sudden the vocals stop. It's like, well, should I start singing? I can't sing this song. It's too high. No, that's frustrating. I'm not having fun.
Yeah.
And that's when I have to make up my mind. Do I want to stay or do I want to go?
Yeah.
It's tough because, it's kind of addicting to play live.
Sure.
But if you're not having fun, how long are you going to stick it out? It's tough. At some point,
I've stayed too long, but it's hard because you develop friendships and you don't want to let anybody down, so you balance all that.
Right.
It's crazy.
It
can be.
I've never quit where they haven't been in a position to keep going.
Right.
And
everything has its shelf life, though. It's going to run its course.
Yeah.
Let's
put it this way. Even when I got fired from Mighty Quinn and Little Sister back in the day, they asked me to come back to play a gig the next week, and I did.
How dare them? But it's cool of you to do it.
But I think they purposely pissed me off, 2 of them. A couple of guys were like, thank you so much for doing this, and saying, I don't know what happened. And then I think a couple of them just did stuff to piss me off, to push my buttons. And I walked out of there at the end of the night. I played everything. Didn't tear down my gear. Told a friend of mine. I just walked out, went home. Never again.
Yeah.
And then we reformed, 10 years later. But it didn't last that long that time, but that was not me.
Perfect. What's your favorite guitar? What's your go-to guitar, man?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I know.
It depends on the circumstance. Oh, look, I got too close. And it's
no,
red.
it'll balance out. It compresses eventually.
Let's start with acoustics. If I'm playing out, I don't use a full body acoustic. I like a big sound with lots of low end, and we're somewhat loud because we're playing all kinds of music, some of which just has to be loud. Not too loud, but loud enough. Loud enough that a regular acoustic would just feed back like crazy, and it wouldn't be fun to play.
Right.
So I, for years, was playing a Crafter that I actually just put up for sale. And after that, I was playing Rick Turner Renaissance guitars. The only other, they're played by a bunch of people that you don't know, and Lindsey Buckingham was the only one who ever played them on stage. But they're excellent. I could turn up as much bass, I could turn up as much volume, never fed back. And then I recently looked to see what it would cost me to replace them, and the prices have gone nuts. And my number one would cost me $5,500 to replace. And I said, no, I'm not gigging that at Buckeye Lake. So this past year I picked up, well, I bought from Dave Thompson an American Acoustasonic.
Oh, cool.
Didn't like it.
Oh.
Ended up selling it pretty quickly. I just didn't think it sounded great, and it dented too easy, and there's some other things. It just didn't. It didn't work
Wasn't
for
your
me.
guitar.
Yeah, but then on Reverb, of course, Fender had a backlog of the Mexican ones, and they were selling the Telecasters in white or butterscotch for $4.99. I said, all right, I'll give it another shot. For that money, I'll give it another shot. So I got one. I adjusted it. It played great. They had changed, simplified the switching, so now it actually worked for me to go from my favorite acoustic sound to my favorite, to a distorted electric sound. And so I bought another one. And then I bought a third that I leave in Florida.
Good for you.
Yeah. And then, but though I've been playing those now for 8 months or so. Takes a little tweaking, but those are my gigging guitars. If I'm home and I want to play acoustic, I've got so many good ones. I've got several Martins. It all depends on what I feel like playing that day. I recently went to Stats. Dwayne and Chris Hagee were playing, and then after hours I had my a McPherson that I bought off a guy last year. Crazy expensive guitars, but the deal was so good I had to have it.
Right. Been there a couple times.
But I've got some great Martins that I love. I've got a Taylor that's an old one that's fantastic. I also have some carbon fiber guitars, which are great to take out in the winter. I got McPherson Sable. I even have a cheap Enya that I got off of Amazon. It's actually pretty good sounding. So I just whatever I feel like, I guess. Electric wise, when I'm gigging, I guess most of the time I've got a pair of PRSs that I love. They both have a humbucker at the neck, single coil in the middle, humbucker at the bridge. One's a Swamp Ash Special, so it's bolt on neck, one-piece Swamp Ash body. The other one is a custom 22 Special or something like that.
Yeah, they're great. They're great guitars, man.
They're versatile. They're fantastic. They work for everything. I've got Tellys. I've got Strats.
Yeah. You have some Les Pauls too, don't you?
No, well, I have one.
At one time. Yeah.
I had a couple. Always had one.
Yeah.
And when I got sick in 2016, I commissioned one to be built for me, and came out the wrong color. And
sorry, man.
the top wasn't what I paid extra for. It's an excellent guitar, but it's been sitting in the case.
Yeah, because you're not happy with it.
Yeah.
I understand.
I mean, other people have them, love them. Chatfield has one.
Yeah.
Several built by the same guy. But anyway, that's a me thing.
Understood.
But, yeah, those
you
two
want what
PRSs.
you want. Nothing wrong with that.
But, with playing with A.J. Angelo before the Buckeye game at the stadium a few weeks back, I think I played a Partzacaster Strat that has lace sensors, Fender American neck, gold sparkle body that was probably balsa wood. It weighs nothing. Paul Schamel from the Reaganomics built it years ago.
Nice.
Sold it to me. Now the neck alone is worth more than what I paid him for the guitar. He asked me recently, hey, do you ever play that? Do you want to sell it back to me? I said, well, how much? He wanted to buy it back for what I paid him years ago. I said, the neck's worth more than
It's
that.
appreciated a little tiny bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But that guitar sounded so good.
I'll bet.
And I was like, it was perfect for that gig. And I picked up one of the PRSs for like 2 songs and put it back down, got the Strat back. So I'm fickle. And it depends. I've got a Gretsch that I really want to take, but I haven't had the right gig. I've got a Rick 12 string that I'd love to play, but I haven't had the right gig. Then I've got other stuff I really should just sell because I have too many. Half what I used to have when I lived in Dublin. I had a big house, and I had over 100.
Over 100
Over
guitars.
100 guitars.
Did you? I didn't realize you had that many.
Yeah. Now it's in the 50s.
Beth and I have a storage unit filled with amps and guitars and some other stuff, but that's where we kind of keep our stuff, so we don't have so much here.
Well,
I mean, there's a lot of space, but we don't want to
right.
warehouse our gear.
I get it.
So it's right down the road, but
well, years and years ago, when we moved from our second house to our bigger house, I think I stored 60-something guitars in Jeff Liberatore's basement.
yes.
Most of them, a lot of them were Hamers, because back then they were, $300, $400. Now there were something, but of course I sold them all.
There is. You were close to Jeff, were you not?
We've known each other for 30 years or more. Yeah. We had our on and off times, as well as a lot of people did with Jeff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we knew each other a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember maybe his last couple days, you and I were both kind of passing,
well, I had just
each other with visitation, and
I just had another surgery, so but I was recovering and couldn't leave my house when he went into hospice, but I was able to get there at least once. I mean, when he first got sick several years ago, I was going to the hospital all the time, even though he didn't really know I was there all the time. Right. He found out afterwards. Someone, his girlfriend at the time told him. But I think getting sick changed him a lot in a good way.
Yes, it did.
But here I am. I've survived some major medical things in my life, and I'll tell you, go to your doctor.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm in the same boat you
He
are.
wasn't that kind of guy.
No, he wasn't.
He didn't tell
he and
anybody.
I had we had the same cancer. We talked about it, and we talked about it a lot. And he passed.
Yeah, it's. I went to the celebration out at the Point, and I was
Just floored. Yep.
Well, no, I had surgery again, and I couldn't stay very long. I wanted to play. I wanted to stay. I wanted to do all that, and I physically just couldn't do it. But I had to be there, at least be there for a little bit.
Right.
And it's
I did the same.
A shame.
I didn't play, but I was there. Yeah.
I mean, I went and played with him in his apartment.
As did I.
Several times.
I built his last pedal board for him.
Did you?
I did.
Yeah.
Which I felt great about.
Yeah.
And he insisted to pay me. So I let him do that. But I think there's something that I'd like to do for him. At this point, even with this podcast, I'm not sure. I was going to let some time pass before I reach to his brother, and he's got some great music, and I thought maybe I could play some of that or something. Just stream it, just leave it out there.
I think it's a good idea.
Or point to where he has some. I wouldn't want to.
I don't know if it's
disposition or reposition any interest. He's got a lot on YouTube, but I don't know if that's where his place, or I don't know if that's where everything is. But maybe point to that just to represent his contributions. He touched so many lives in his music.
Yeah, I first met him when he was in the Radio Hounds. Jamie Oberlin, and I don't remember who else was in the band.
Yeah,
but when he was in the Jack, they played On the Rocks a lot, and I lived very close to On the Rocks. And I was in the wedding band at the time, and I would show up. The weddings, those gigs were over fairly early. I'd show up at On the Rocks in my tuxedo.
Beautiful.
And Rick would always get me on the stage to play like the last half hour with them. They were loud, but we had so much fun. Jeff and I would trade eights and stuff, and one moment, it was like, God, you suck. And the next one was like, that was so much fun playing with you. It's like,
yeah,
come on, Jeff,
sure.
pick. Do I suck or do I guess I do both. I suck.
Well, going over to his
fun to play
place,
with.
it's like, you know, you plug in, and he's like, he would just school my ass, right? He'd be like, play something funky. So I get some good rhythm,
Yeah.
and he would be like, oh, okay, man. So we would just go back and forth, and you know, he'd do his thing. He'd show me some stuff. It was awesome. He was very, very generous with me.
Yeah.
I appreciated that.
I think what kills me is that he could have still been here.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I talked to him about treatment. I talked to him about the treatment I got. I talked to him about a lot about. We had the same cancer, and we talked a lot about it. We'd go to dinner together. We'd talk about a lot of things, and so that was tough, you know.
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't want to end this on a bummer.
No,
We've
not at
got
all, man. We got a lot. No, but I just, you know, I just want to make sure that you could remark on some of that. You know, for you, 2025, I think is going to be huge for you, man. You know, as much as you're able to continue to make those contributions, because you've got it. You've got a lot of opportunities ahead, as much as you've just described.
Yeah, some places are booking already. I've got one place booked through next December, both solo and duo. I'm actually playing at Buckeye Lake Winery in December.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Perfect. That's a beautiful spot.
It's a place I'd love to play solo on Sunday afternoons.
That's perfect for you.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe we can get a band going, hopefully. Get to play some electric, or even just filling in. You know, with Hodgepodge, we've got a gig coming up at the Buckeye Lake Eagles. And it's a mellower kind of music, but I have fun, and I get to play electric and solo and all that stuff and sing a bit. And good people and good times, and it's fun.
Right.
That's what it comes down to. So we'll see what 2025 holds. I keep thinking about what is it that I want to do, and I'm not sure yet.
Right.
Everything, I guess.
Because you can.
Well,
you can.
Let's
You can
not go
sing.
crazy.
You play guitar. Do you do anything else?
No,
That's all you need to do.
that's all I need to do.
Awesome.
I mean, I've played. You know, I've been the rhythm guitar player. I've been the lead player.
Yeah.
I've been solo guitar player. I've been whatever. I'm not the greatest lead guitar player, but I play enough to fool people. Apparently.
You're a good guitar player. You're solid. You can sing like an angel. It's awesome.
I love when I have a drummer to lock in with. That's a big thing, especially playing rhythm. I mean, that's just give me a great drummer and a great bass player to lay down a groove, and that's
where
and
it's
then you
at.
get the excellent vocals on the top, and I'm in my happy place.
Absolutely.
I'm in my happy place even doing the duo.
Same concept, just
Yeah, same concept.
different music,
Although today I was,
different channeling.
I'm trying to just think about not going to tracks, or maybe just my Beat Buddy pedal that I played around with for a couple hours today. I don't know. I have almost a moral dilemma with it. I don't mind if other people do it, but like the cruise ship we were on, there were two duo acts, one of whom basically had karaoke tracks, and the singer and a guitar player who like noodled over the tracks. Hated it. It's too much. And then there's another duo that had tracks, but sparse tracks that added but didn't overwhelm.
Right.
And somewhere in there, maybe there's something I might do, although it's a lot of work, I think, to put it together. Not even just practicing, to do it, I don't know, solo gigs if I want to add something. But I don't know. I get always thinking, what can I do to improve the show? What can I do to make it fun for not just me, but for the audience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All good, man.
Yeah.
Well, great insights. A wonderful story, man. Some funny.
I think I'm funny.
things.
Nobody else does.
You got a Brad Morse story that you can, hit
God.
us with? Because I know you've spent some time with Brad, have you not?
We've never
Brad
played
Moore.
together.
You've never gigged.
No. He did come to my house when he hadn't played for a while. He wanted to start playing out again, but he wanted to do something totally different, not the usual stuff. But he didn't know what it was. He came to my house, he played a little bit, and then he ended up going back solo, doing the same thing as always.
Trying to figure it out.
Never figured out what that something different was. But yeah, we used to play Put-in Bay same weekend. I would be up there with them. And there was one particular one where Brad and Tammy were up there and staying in the dorm. And I was there with Mike Skite, Mother Trucker Acoustic. And I forget where Brad was playing, but we were at the boathouse again. And Mike thought it would be funny to leave a little present in their toilet and not flush.
Oh, jeez. You are throwing people under the bus.
I didn't do that. No, it was fun.
Okay.
I actually talked to Brad and Tammy about this recently.
Jeez.
And that night, like 3 a.m, we're dead asleep. I'm on the top bunk. Someone knocks down our door to our room, which is locked. And I, scared, I jumped down from the upper bunk, ready my fist, ready to fight.
Yeah.
And there's Brad and Tammy. Tammy's got a camera taking pictures of us. I asked her to find those, but I don't know if she's had a chance. They've been traveling a little bit. He got us good. Mike thought he had them. They got us good. Yes.
Let's look for those photos, man.
Yeah. You hear that, Tammy? Find those photos.
All right. Well, with that one, I'm gonna text those guys tomorrow morning. Yeah. Episode number 92.
92, almost 100.
David Eidelberg. Yeah, well, 100's coming. We'll figure out what's happening. Appreciate your time, man.
I appreciate you having me.
I'm glad you made it.
I'm glad I got through it. I hope I didn't piss anybody off.
No. We'll find out.
I probably did.
Phones aren't ringing. Oh, actually, the phone did ring.
It did ring.
We'll see how this works out. Episode 92, David Eidelberg. Check him out. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.